Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. If you can all please rise for the posting of the colors. Going to be presented by our very own Pompano Beach Fire Rescue Color Guard. This morning they are going to be played in by Freddie Diaz, our logistics specialist, who's going to be playing America the Beautiful.
Majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes through in the liberating strife, who more than self their country love and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold be fine. To love, success, be nobleness, and every gain America, America, God shed His grace on thee and crowned thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Now for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the retirement of the colors. You may be seated. Thank you. Take your seats. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Good. Thanks for being here. Nice crowd this morning. My name is George Rossi. I'm one of the battalion chiefs here at Pompano Beach. I've had the honor and privilege to work with this department for the past 21 years. And I have the honor and privilege of being before you today to navigate us through the ceremony this morning. So, to kick things off, I'd like to invite up the Fire Chaplain Paul Walker for this morning's invocation.
Can we take a moment of silence to think about those who we've lost this past year, including one of our lifeguards this past week? Father, we come to you this morning grateful for the many blessings that you've bestowed, not just upon the city, but specifically this department. Father, I thank you for the men and women who are the heart and the face, not just of the fire department, but God, so oftentimes the city itself. So Father, I pray today that you be honored. Father, I pray that today that you would be blessed by the things that we communicate and that we do. Father, today we're going to recognize and celebrate the actions of those who have demonstrated valor, who have longevity in the service, for teams that have gone out and demonstrated what it means to put on the badge of a Pompano Beach Fire Department member. Father, today we're going to recognize men and women who have excelled, who have demonstrated, Father, a certain level of aptitude, as well as character, as well as chemistry with their peers. And Father, we pray that you would be celebrated in that. And Father, I thank you for the great calling that you've put upon all these men and women. You tell us in your word that how blessed it is, how amazing it is for someone who's willing to lay down their life for another. And these men and women do it day after day after day. So Father, we're grateful for them. Father, we pray a hedge of protection over them as they work. We pray a hedge of protection over their families, as when they're not there to protect them. I pray that you would. And Father, we ask that today, Father, for many, they're going to remember this day for the rest of their lives. And Father, I pray that in that they would remember the community that they had as being a part of the Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. So Father, our hearts are full. Father, we're grateful. And Father, we're also grateful for the good work that you're doing in our chief's life. Father, for the healing of his body, we pray for continued restoration for him. So Father, I pray that in all things, again, that you be celebrated, and that today would be just an amazing day. So thank you. Thank you for the opportunity of serving these great men and these great women. I pray this in your holy and precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Paul. At this time, I'd like to welcome Pompano Beach Mayor Rex Harden.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Welcome to everyone. It is a great day in Pompano Beach. It is truly an honor to go through this process each year with the fire department. And I tell you what, we have got the best fire department in the world, in my mind. But first, before we go any further, I'd like to recognize my colleagues which are here with me today. I've got Vice Mayor Barry Moss. We've got Commissioner Beverly Perkins. Commissioner Rhonda Eaton, Commissioner Andrea McGee, and unfortunately Commissioner Tom McMahon, he was called to another engagement. He had to go, so he's not here today, but he sends his well wishes on this momentous day, of course. I'd also like to recognize former City Commissioner and legend in the fire service, Woody Portier. Last but certainly not least, we are honored to have the presence of our own State Representative Chip Lamarca right here in the front row. Thank you. Like I said, just welcome everyone. This is a great day, a great event. It's always a pleasure to spend time with the fire service and just welcome new members and recognize existing members, and of course see the retirees, the active member, and everyone just enjoy the day. This is really something special for all of us. So welcome to these proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Some of you may be wondering why traditionally we've had pipes and drums to start off our ceremonies. This year, unfortunately, Black Pearl pipe and drums were originally scheduled to come out and play, but they had an unfortunate passing of someone in the family. So they were pulled away from today's event. But Freddie Diaz, our legislative specialist, stepped up for us, filled in nicely, and did a great job for us. So thank you, Freddie, wherever you're at. You guys want to hear from the fire chief? I'm glad you guys said that because he's coming up to say a few words. Fire Chief John Jarley.
Better than being booed, I guess. Well, good morning. It seems like many of us were together just 24 hours ago, so I've got the same things to say, so I want to leave, I actually, no, I'm just kidding. It is a great morning here at Pompano Beach, and thank you everyone for coming out again. As I mentioned, this is a very busy time of year for everyone, so I know how important it is for you to be here. We thank you and we appreciate that very much. I must tell you, as the fire chief, this is probably one of my favorite times of the year. It's one of my favorite things to do, to get together here with our family and friends. I travel with a great company, with a great commission. It's great to be here on this occasion. We do it every year, this time of year. But it is really, as I said, one of my proudest moments to stand up here, look out at this room filled with family and friends, familiar faces, and it truly is a season to be jolly. It's a great festive time of year for this fire department, for the city. Many of you know yesterday we dedicated Station 24, our newest fire station that we've just rededicated, and it was a phenomenal event. Prior to that, we had the lighting up of Martin MLK Boulevard, which was a beautiful event. We delivered Santa to that. Last night we had the Yuletide Parade. There's just so many things going on in the city this time of year, and it's just a great time to do this. So we typically do this also this time of year because we tie it in to our retiree luncheon, so we can honor them while they're here. So we thank everybody for being here. We're going to keep things moving forward with the cooperation of our folks and our commission, and look forward to doing this again next year. This is our 6th annual awards ceremony. It's something we started years ago. For those of us that have been here for a while, when we were much smaller, you were called and told that, hey, you got promoted and you picked up your badge. We have progressed, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished here. As you can see from this morning, we have a very busy schedule. Again, we've got a lot of promotions, a lot of hires, so we might as well get started here. But this morning we will honor 4 individuals who have recently retired from this fire department. And between those 4 individuals, they have over 130 years of experience, between 4 individuals. And it takes all these people here to replace those 130 years, so they've got a lot of work that they need to do. But there is, it is great to see my friends retire, and none of them seem to be complaining about the retirement life. They're telling me how wonderful it is, and I look forward to joining them at some point. But with that, it's great because we have all these new wonderful folks that we have hired that have increased the diversity in our fire department, that are young, energetic, making our fire department better as we move forward. So it is a constant cycle of people retiring and people getting hired here, and continue to get better each time we do that. We will recognize 17 individuals that were promoted over the last year and are the new leaders of this fire department. As I said, this is a cyclic thing for us. We retire folks, new people step up into the positions. Our succession plan is working. We are a young department. We are younger than we've probably ever been because so many people have retired, but I promise you the folks that are moving up into our succession plan, moving up into leadership positions, the people that we are hiring are ready for the challenge to continue to move this fire department forward, to continue to make it a better fire department, to continue to keep it an ISO Class 1 fire department, to continue to be an accredited fire department, to continue to be one of the best fire departments in the world. And when I say that, it's because we've been recognized and rated by independent organizations from across the country and across the world that have given us those designations. And as you know, we're an ISO Class 1 as well as an accredited department, and there are only 77 of those across the world. And we continue to get better, and it's because of the people that work here. In this group, we will welcome 23 new recruits, and congratulating them on completing their first full year of firefighting service for our department. We have two new civilians that we will welcome on board into our family, and a new ocean rescue lifeguard that we will welcome into the fire department and city family. All these folks, the new recruits, the new hires, and those getting promoted, are the future of this fire department, as I mentioned. Many of them are just now embarking on a wonderful career. I'm jealous, and I wish you all the luck in the world. Finally, we will announce the winners of various awards, both department awards, as well as Heroes of Moreau awards that we recognize for actions that people have performed on the job, as well as citizens. However, before we get going with all these festivities, I also would like to take a moment and recognize and thank some folks that are here with us in the audience. As you know, I have tons of admiration for our city commission. I truly mean it when I say it, as I did yesterday. I'm one of the luckiest fire chiefs in the world to have the support that we have continually had of this commission to help us move forward with the things that we are doing here, building fire stations, buying equipment, and as long as I am the fire chief, I will always be indebted to these gentlemen and women for the support that they give us. And again, I thank you for everything you do for us. We have with us Assistant City Manager Suzette Sybil, as was mentioned earlier. It's great to have a combination of relationships with our commission, as well as the fourth floor and the city manager. And as I mentioned yesterday, it is the teamwork that we have in this city that is really responsible for all the successes that we have. And I'm confident that that teamwork amongst us as family members in the city will continue as we move these many projects forward in the city. As we had mentioned, we have retired Commissioner Portier, retired Lieutenant Portier, and also on our EMS Advisory Board with us. So I thank him for being here, and our EMS Advisory Board members. Obviously, you can see this is a big event. Everybody comes out for this. And finally, as I said yesterday, you know it's a big event when Chief Hedges is here. And once again, he's made that trek down from Pensacola, was here yesterday, is here with us today, and will be at the luncheon later on. So, Chief Hedges, back in the back there, thank you. Thanks for coming back. And last but not least, but folks that I will always be indebted to, and I do it every year, I'm going to do it again. If all our retirees could stand up, we are owed a debt of gratitude for all of them. Finally, I'd like to thank the members that have helped put this event on, our CERT members that are always with us to assist in these types of events, as well as, unfortunately, when we have emergencies in the city. Again, my city staff and the staff here at the Larkin Center who've worked tirelessly over the last few months to put this together. And last but not least, our awards committee. The awards committee receives nominations throughout the year, and ultimately, the people you will see recognized here today are not selected by the chiefs. They are selected by the awards committee. And as I've said in the past, I don't think there is any greater honor than being recognized by your peers. And that's the purpose of our awards committee. And I thank you for your work throughout the year. I cannot think of a more rewarding profession than one as a public servant, whether it be a firefighter, a law enforcement officer, or even in our military. Today we will meet many individuals who have chosen to serve as public servants for Pompano Beach. As many of you know, we run about 29,000 calls a year in this city. 70% of those are medical emergencies we respond to throughout the year. What many of you may not know is that we could never do that without a medical director. A medical director and a strong medical director is absolutely essential to a service like ours. We've had the honor and privilege of having a medical director for nearly 30 years. That is so uncommon. I can tell you that in Broward County, there are probably only 2 medical directors that have that type of seniority as a medical director. We are fortunate to have one, and our medical director is Dr. Mike Farrell. Doctor, if you could come up with me. Dr. Farrell is our medical director, and as I said, he's been our medical director for over 30 years and is one of the longest serving medical directors in Broward County and has been our longest medical director. 30 years is a long time to have to deal with us, trust me. But he's done it with honor and gratitude and compassion, and anybody that knows Dr. Farrell knows that he's a man of few words. You know that he is always there whenever you need him. You're sick, you can call him, he'll take care of you. Right now, he is probably very uncomfortable because I have him up here on stage, right? And he's probably very upset with me. And he's probably never going to treat me again when I call him in the middle of the night because I'm sick. But I cannot think of a better man, a better medical director, a more passionate person than Dr. Farrell. And I will tell you as the fire chief, I am truly honored, and this department is truly honored to have him as our medical director. We're fortunate to have a medical director for 30 years, the same person. It adds consistency to what we have done here. He has pushed us to the limits to be one of the best EMS systems in this country, and we thank him for that. One of the things we do in the fire service is for people that take this walk with us, whether it be retirees or whatnot, we do shadow boxes. Dr. Farrell's shadow box, we're giving to him this year because he's been here nearly 30 years, and that is a long time. So, congratulations, Doc. Come on over. This is also a historical moment because he is going to speak. I've never heard the man talk.
Like this. 30 years ago, when Chief Small first asked me to join here, he handed me a stack of papers about 6 things. I said, what are these? He said, these are your protocols. How things have changed over the last 30 years. I'm just proud to be here. This has been my favorite job of a lifetime as a medical director here. Thank you very much for your cooperation and help.
So that's the most he's talked in 30 years. Just saying. And Doc, just so you know, Kim was in on, your wife Kim was in on this the whole time. So if anybody has a good doctor that you can refer me to, I'd appreciate it because I just lost mine. All right, so as I said, we have a busy day, busy morning. Let's get started with the show. Thanks again for coming out, and I'll turn it back over to the Time Chief Ross.
All right, thank you, Chief. Thank you, Dr. Farrell, for all your years of service. And now, on to the awards presentations. To assist me with this is going to be our Public Communications Director, Sandra King, who's going to read off the citations as we present the awards. So something you may not know about firefighters is that we don't like accolades, we don't like to be acknowledged for good deeds, we don't like to be put in the spotlight for things that we do. But you're going to be today. You know, we got a lot of people just starting off their careers, people that are entrenched, progressing along, got a lot of retirees back there, so we got a good combination of a representative of what Pompano is all about. And it is nice to take back and appreciate and be acknowledged for good deeds every so often. So today's one of those days we're going to put you in the spotlight, we're going to acknowledge you for good deeds, award you, celebrate you. It's a good day for everybody. So the first presentation we're going to talk about is a Citizen Heroism Award. If I can please have Sean Scullen come up to the stage, please.
22nd, 2019, Mae Morris was working at the Salvation Army and just finished speaking to her son on the phone. As Miss Morris hung up the phone, she suddenly went unresponsive and stopped breathing. That's when Sean Scullen, Mae's co-worker, realized something was wrong and laid Miss Morris down on the ground and called 911. Sean was unable to feel a pulse and immediately started CPR. Sean continued CPR until fire rescue arrived approximately 5 minutes from the time of the 911 call. As fire rescue workers worked to resuscitate Ms. Morris, Sean stayed on the scene asking if he could help. Ms. Morris's son had been contacted by another employee of the Salvation Army and arrived on scene where again Sean was there to offer support. After several more minutes of CPR, defibrillation, intubation, and several rounds of cardiac drugs, Ms. Morris regained pulse. Morris was transported to Broward Health North. Approximately 1 week later, she was awake, had a defibrillator placed, and was going through rehab. Mae Morris was discharged from the hospital after 3 weeks. It is clear that Sean's brave and selfless actions were the reason Miss Mae Morris had such a positive outcome. Pompano Beach Fire Rescue is honored to recognize Sean Scullen with a 2019 Citizen Heroism Award.
We're fortunate enough today to have Miss Mae Morris with us today. Congratulations, Sean, and thank you. Ms. Morris, thank you for being here today as well. Our next award is the Peter Satorsky Lifeguard of the Year Award. We can you please have lifeguard Terry Larola up to the stage, please.
Ocean Rescue Lifeguard Terry Larola, originally from France, spent time in the French Navy as an airplane technician, a position that required meticulous attention to detail. Terry brings this diligence to every aspect of the job at Ocean Rescue. Whether it's setting up his assigned area for the day, office duties, or rescue response, you can be assured his equipment is ready, he's on his toes, and any and all emergency response will be as effective as possible. Lifeguard Larola continually goes above and beyond the daily assigned duties. He routinely performs maintenance and repair of lifeguard towers, vehicles, and watercrafts. Without Terry's interventions, valuable equipment would be out of service much longer and affect the Ocean Rescue Division's ability to prevent and respond to all beach emergencies. As a training officer and upgrade supervisor, Terry is often utilized to not only train new personnel, but also ongoing training needed for all ocean rescue personnel. When it comes to keeping up with medical standards, innovations in surf life-saving techniques, and maintaining a level of physical fitness, Terry doesn't just keep up with lifeguards half his age, he leaves them in his wake. We congratulate Ocean Rescue Lifeguard Terry Larola as the 2019 Peter Satorsky Lifeguard of the Year.
Terry, congratulations. Next award we're going to present is one of Firefighter of the Year. we can please have Lieutenant Denny Diaz up to the stage, please.
On the morning of December 10th, 2018, Lieutenant Danny Diaz was off duty and driving home from a long shift at the fire station. While traveling the Florida Turnpike, Diaz came upon a vehicle fire on the side of the road. The SUV on fire had a female driver trapped inside. Lieutenant Diaz quickly pulled over while others stood by looking at the danger and possible tragic event about to unfold. Without hesitation or concern for his own safety, Diaz immediately sprang into action. When he opened the SUV's driver's side door, he found a disoriented female fighting to free herself from the heat and smoke, trapped under her own seatbelt. Lieutenant Diaz quickly freed the patient and moved her to safety. He then stayed by the patient's side until local fire rescue services arrived. Lieutenant Diaz is a great example of the type of firefighter that works right here for Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. For his quick thinking and actions that ultimately saved a life, we are proud to present the 2019 Firefighter of the Year Award to Lieutenant Danny Diaz.
Congratulations, Danny. Nicely done. Our next award is that of Paramedic of the Year. If we can please have Lieutenant Arjun Surju up to the stage, please.
Arjun Surju, originally from Trinidad, is one of the first in his family to attend college. He became a Pompano Beach firefighter paramedic in 2015 and has been a lieutenant for just over a year. Yet his medical expertise and skill is more akin to a seasoned veteran. The fact that he has also worked as an emergency room nurse may explain some of his outstanding medical performance. In the past year, Lieutenant Surju has responded to multiple critical overdoses, respiratory arrest, and cardiac arrest calls with an impressive treatment success rate. Although Lieutenant Surju has worked with different crews on different shifts, his leadership and medical proficiency has proven to be unwavering. When asked about his medical successes, he's quick to give the credit to his crew members. Not only is he a good leader, he's a team player. During the month of August 2019, Lieutenant Surju responded to 3 different cardiac arrest calls, each with a different crew. The first patient was a 30-year-old female overdose with an initial EKG showing a systole known as flatline, which usually has an extremely poor survival rate. Following extensive advanced life support treatment, the patient was successfully resuscitated. The second patient was an 84-year-old female with an extensive cardiac and diabetic history. This patient had initial EKG of pulseless electrical activity, which also has a very poor prognosis. Exhaustive and life support efforts resulted in another successful resuscitation. The third patient was a 57-year-old male who collapsed at the gym. The patient's initial EKG showed ventricular fibrillation. Lieutenant Surju again demonstrated his expertise as he directed his crew through a course of complicated advanced life support treatment. This resuscitative effort also had a positive outcome. These are just a few examples of Lieutenant Surju's many successes. It is with great pride that we present to you Lieutenant Arjun Surju, the 2019 Paramedic of the Year.
you guys notice how uncomfortable he was up here? He doesn't like the spotlight either. At least not in public. All right, for our next award is Officer of the Year. Can please have Captain David Harwell come up to the stage, please.
Captain David Harwell leads by example, working harder than those under his direction. He's a mentor to his subordinates and works diligently to invest in the lieutenants under his command. He's a member of the Research and Development Committee. Harwell's also a member of the Fire Department Vehicle Extrication Competition Team. In addition, he's actively involved in the Pompano Fire Museum and serves on the committee that operates and maintains our 2 antique fire trucks. Captain Harwell has developed training programs on pressurized water extinguishers as well as search and rescue, which has been very successful. In fact, he's been asked to teach the program at the Coral Springs Public Safety Institute. David is currently assisting with the Lieutenant Training Program. Harwell is regularly involved with Fire Department benevolent events involving the Broward Children's Center, Miles for Smiles, Bit by Bit Therapeutic Horse Riding, just to name a few. Captain Harwell's selfless, dedicated attitude of putting his crew and the residents of Pompano Beach first seems to have no boundaries. It is with great pleasure that we recognize the 2019 Officer of the Year, Captain David Harwell.
Nice job, Dave. He can't get off the stage fast enough, though. Our next award is that of the William Fay Award for Exemplary Dedication. Can we please have Lieutenant Hector Jimenez up to the stage, please?
Lieutenant Hector Jimenez has demonstrated his dedication in many ways during his 7 years with the fire department. Jimenez is a member of the Apparatus Committee that researches and designs all fire rescue vehicles. He organizes the November Kickball fundraising tournament. He coordinates fire department benevolent events for the Broward Children's Center. Lieutenant Jimenez also leads the fire department extrication competition team. Following Hurricane Dorian, he organized fire department personnel to assist at 4 a.m. with supplies to be sent to the Bahamas. In addition, Jimenez teaches basic and advanced cardiac life support, firefighter minimum standards, shipboard firefighting at various locations, and academics throughout South Florida. Congratulations to the 2019 William Fay Award for Exemplary Dedication, Lieutenant Hector Jimenez.
Congratulations, Hector. So the next award is that of the Company of the Year. So with everything in firefighting, we learned that we can't do it ourselves. It takes a team to get this done. And you're going to see a prime example of what it takes for a team to get things done. There's quite a few people involved with this award here. So if I can have all the recipients of the Company of the Year award, instead of coming up on the stage, there's so many of us, we're going to have you line up across the stage here so we can get a good look at everybody.
Yes.
All right, here we go. Battalion Chiefs, David Shefflin, Matthew Whitten. Captains, Patrick Cronin, Colin Kelleher, Daniel Friesmuth, Mark Salisbury, William Krebs, Elio Stopignan, Jason Lutzinger. Lieutenants, Kimberly Gandolf, Tom Leal, Sean Grove, Frederick Morsini, Kevin Gordon, Ivo Di Franceschi. Thanks for holding your applause until the end, appreciate that. Driver engineers, Fred Sampson, Bradley Lawson, Glenn Mackey, James Dryden. Firefighter paramedics, Neil Weedman, Robert Fisher, Anthony Annunziata, Dean Fay, Jordan Dinnan, Christian Marlowe, Thomas Lubinsky, Michael Garcia, Jeremy Tooks, Michael Ponga, Richard Orozco, David Bilecki, David Hengel, Peter Ornieri, Jamar Kerr. Ladies and gentlemen, your Company of the Year Award recipients.
Oh, wait a minute. On October 22nd, 2019, Engine 5-2, Squad 5-2, Rescue 5-2, and Battalion 6-3 responded to a two-vehicle accident on Northwest 27th Avenue at 15th Street. Both vehicles sustained heavy damage. A Level 1 MCI, which is a mass casualty incident, was called for a total of 7 critical trauma alert patients, 3 of which were pediatric patients. 5 patients were unconscious and trapped in the vehicles. Additional units responded to assist with the difficult call, including engines 6-1, 6-3, rescues 252, 6-1, 6-3, 2-4, 103, 11, and Battalion 103, as well as Air Rescue 85, the medevac helicopter. Engine 5-2 and Squad 5-2, using specialized tools and heavy rescue techniques, worked to extricate the 5 trapped victims from the vehicles. Engine 6-3 assisted with the extrication and patient packaging, while Engine 6-1 secured a landing zone for Air Rescue 85. The 7 rescues were each assigned to treat and transport one of the critical trauma alert patients. The patient in Rescue 5-2 actually went into cardiac arrest and was revived using advanced life support prior to arrival at the hospital. The 4 adult trauma alert patients were transported to Broward Health North Trauma Center. The 3 pediatric trauma alert patients were transported to Broward Health General Trauma Center, and the most critical pediatric patient was taken by Air Rescue 85. The quick actions and coordinated effort by the multiple companies that responded to this extremely challenging incident helped save the lives of 7 critically injured patients. We recognize all of them as the 2019 Company of the Year.
Make sure your plaques are right side up and facing out. Congratulations, Company of the Year. All right, so now we transition to the promotional presentations. So earlier we talked about how firefighters don't like being acknowledged for accolades and job well done. Not the case for promotions. Those that promote have no problem letting people know they got promoted, their chest bust out, and they're all making sure everyone knows it. But you know, it's for good reason. Promotions don't come easy. They don't come around often, and when they do come around, it's a very competitive process. It's a lot of hard work. I'm sure a lot of family and friends that are here can attest to that, as they probably lost their loved ones for a few months as they buried themselves in books. It's a price that we pay for promotions, but it's well worth it in the end. So we're going to get started with our promotions. First promotion we're going to acknowledge is that of the driver engineer. If you can have the driver engineers come up to the corner of the stage, please. So this past year, the following individuals have been promoted to the rank of driver engineer. Adam Meisick, Devin Rosello, Vincent Levita, Jason Davaluz. In order to qualify for a driver engineer position, you must have a minimum of 3 years of service. You must complete a total of 160 hours of college-level coursework, 4 separate classes consisting of fire apparatus operations, fire hydraulics, tactics and strategies, and aerial operations. Then you must successfully pass a written examination and complete a 2-week driver engineer course at fire training. As you would imagine, the driver engineer's primary job is to operate the fire apparatus, driving to and from emergency scenes, and including in pumping and operating the aerial ladders during emergency operations. Congratulations, guys. Job well done. Next, I'd like to have the newly promoted lieutenants up to the stage, please. Lieutenants Chase Davis, Lieutenant Samuel Durda, Lieutenant Andrew Morgan, Lieutenant Andrew Lawrence, Lieutenant Peter Rogers, the lieutenant is the officer on the rescue truck. We have 7 rescue trucks that cover the state on a day-to-day basis. They must be a Florida Certified Fire Officer 1 as well as a paramedic. They must have a minimum of 3 years of service and also compete in a written examination and go through an assessment center and successfully pass it. Congratulations, Lieutenants. Job well done. Next, we can have the newly promoted captains up to the stage, please. You guys good? Like you're getting dressed right now. Captain William Krebs. Captain Stephen Burnett. Captain Elio Stopagnani. Captain Samantha Hope Emsley. So in order to qualify for the fire captain position, you must have a minimum of 5 years experience, 2 years as either driver engineer or 1 year as a lieutenant, or 1 year as a training captain in order to qualify for the position. You must be a Florida Fire Officer 2, as well as a state certified paramedic, and carry a minimum of an associate's degree. If you meet those qualifications, you must then pass a written examination as well as an assessment center. Their primary role is that of the station officer and the officer on the engine and or the ladder. Good job, captains. Congratulations. Next, you can call up newly promoted training captain to the stage, please. Alex Delator, ladies and gentlemen, newly promoted training captain. Training captain must have 5 years of experience, 2 years as a driver, engineer, or lieutenant. They normally conduct fire and EMS training department-wide. They must be a Florida Certified Fire Officer 2, Fire Instructor 2, as well as a state certified paramedic. They also must have a minimum of an associate's degree. They also must pass a written examination and complete an assessment center exam as well. Next, if we could please have newly promoted battalion chiefs to the stage, please. Battalion Chief Richard Cupo. Battalion Chief Matthew Aldridge. So in order to qualify, be eligible for the battalion chief position, you must have a minimum of 8 years experience and have worked in the role as a fire captain. General responsibilities is the shift officer in charge of the city. City of Pompano Beach has 6 fire stations, generally 2 battalion chiefs per shift. We're transitioning to a 3rd as we speak. They split their roles and responsibilities of overseeing the city and all the stations of personnel on a day-to-day basis. You must be a Florida Certified Fire Officer 3, as well as a certified state paramedic. And you must have a bachelor's degree in order to qualify for the position, as well as complete a written examination and an assessment center eval. Congratulations, guys. That does it for our promotions. Good job, guys. Congratulations. Now, we go on to our recruit ceremony as we acknowledge our newest members to our Pompano Beach family here. If we can please call up the Emergency Management Coordinator, please, up to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Crystal Aaron. The Emergency Management Coordinator assists the Emergency Manager in coordinating the city's emergency management program. You must have a minimum of a bachelor's degree for this position.
We need an emergency coordinator for this.
Good job coordinating. Congratulations, Crystal. Next, I'd like to have the logistics analyst up to the stage, please. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stephen Mayer. The logistics analyst assists the logistics manager in the evaluation of vendors and suppliers, as well as analysis of facility maintenance, supply chain analysis, inventory management, and procurement. You must have a bachelor's degree that will qualify and apply for this position. Congratulations, Steve. Next, if you can please have our newest ocean rescue lifeguard up to the stage, please. Mr. Mauricio Pascual. Our ocean rescue lifeguards must be United States Lifeguard Association or USLA or American Red Cross lifeguard certified. You must also be a Florida certified EMT and complete the minimum 40 hours of USLA lifeguard training, as well as throughout the course of the year continuing surf, life-saving, and medical training. What is it? Congratulations. Final grouping of recruits we'd like to acknowledge are those of firefighters. If our firefighter recruits can all come up to the corner of the stage, please. Firefighter Frederick Katina. Daniel Adeshina. Peterson Guerrera. Kaylee Kakamo. Kaylee's going to be picked today by her husband, firefighter from Boca Raton Fire Rescue. Mr. Dean Fay. Dean Fay is going to be pinned by Chief John Jurgle this morning. It was a request by Dean Fay's father, William Fay, requested that John Jurgle would pin his son one day if he was ever employed with at Pompano Beach. Firefighter Jordan Thompson. Richard Orozco. Firefighter Curlew Levasseur. Firefighter Deoslin Acosta. So while I wait for the rush hour traffic to slow down a little bit, in order to qualify for a firefighter recruit, you must be a Florida certified firefighter 2, as well as a state certified paramedic. Upon meeting those qualifications, you must go through an all interview. Successfully passing that all interview, you then get a conditional job offer pending successful passing of a background check, polygraph examination, psychological profile, which I still question, and then being medically cleared. Upon successfully passing all those phases, the fun begins. You start off with 8 weeks of training at fire training, where they do in-depth fire training, including emergency procedures and firefighter survival skills, extensive medical training, and familiarizing the use of all fire and EMS equipment, exclusive particularly for Pompano Beach. I'd like to call up firefighter Christian Marlowe. Firefighter Joshua Iglesias. Joshua is being pinned by his father this morning, who is Deputy Fire Marshal, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. Firefighter Michael Hughes. Once the firefighters complete their 8 weeks of training at fire training, they are released to shift work. They are assigned an A, B, or C shift, and they begin a 24-hour tours of duty. During that first year, they face quarterly examinations, where they get continuously tested on all their POs and knots and medical protocols. 6 months into that, they go through their paramedic sign-off, where they gotta go through the paramedic evaluation and get signed off and signed a preceptor to see if they get signed off and they can function as a licensed paramedic within the state of Florida in Pompano Beach. I'd like to call firefighter Ryan Arrick to the stage. Ricardo Roca. Firefighter Anthony Palermo. Firefighter Sean Katz. Those of you who may not know this, but Sean Katz recently won our monthly Movember Mustache of the Year award. He decided to clean it up for today. Firefighter Ryan Pagan. Firefighter Diego Oliveira. Firefighter Damien Arbaz. Firefighter Michael Garcia. Firefighter Jamar Kerr. Congratulations, all our newest recruits. Welcome to the family. Now, we transition to acknowledge those that came before us and led the way for us. Retiree presentation. We can have Battalion Chief Theodore Patton up to the stage, please. completed 33 years of service at Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. Drive engineer Darren Davis. 32 plus years at Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. Training Captain Dave Smith, are you here? David Smith completed 33 years of service at Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. Firefighter Tracy Glass. Tracy Glass completed nearly 30 years of service at Pompano Beach Fire Rescue. They don't make them like Tracy. Just take a moment to look at the attire. Tell you, walked off too fast. Congratulations, Ted, Darren, and Tracy. Going to their retired years. Wraps up our awards, our promotions, our recruits, and our retirees. At this time, I'd like to call up Chief Jurgle for his closing comments.
All right. I think that was the best ever, myself personally. You can see by the folks that work here, our new folks as well as the folks that retired, it really is the men and women of this fire department that make us who we are. Yes, we absolutely have attained a lot of accolades and awards, but it always is the men and women of this job that make us who we are. You saw the Company of the Year award, the teamwork they do, what they do every day. And this is really just a sampling of the over 200 some folks that work for us. So for the citizens, for the commissioners, I promise you that things are in good hands with regard to the fire department. The future is bright with this fire department. Our succession plan and leaders coming up is bright. And I'm proud to be the fire chief here for the men and women of the fire department. Thank you all very much. I do have a couple of announcements. First of all, I want to remind everybody here today that this afternoon at Galuppi's, our retirees will be hosting their luncheon. So for those of you on duty and those that do not, feel free to stop by and mingle and hear some of the stories, not about me, but about some of the other folks that retired. I also want to mention the fact that I'm sure many of you have seen that beautiful antique engine that's out front. It's in all of our parades. Rob Brantley has done a phenomenal job with the help of others, but mainly Rob Brantley of keeping that thing up and running for years now. We have recently reinstituted our committee, our organization to help Bubba with that. It's the Pompano Beach Fire Museum Historical Society. This is a plug. It's a 501c3. We want people to get involved. We need to raise some money to restore our museum, to keep that engine as well as our second antique engine running. So for all my new employees, meet Bubba in the back and get involved. For all our retirees, we'd love for you to come back and help Bubba. And for all our family members here, we would love for you to be involved with that and be a part of our family. So thank you for that. Finally, Chief Small once mentioned to me that oftentimes we don't realize as we go through our careers and our lives here, we don't realize that we are actually making history as we go. And we sometimes don't appreciate it until maybe we're retired or whatnot. So what I would ask is that for all our new employees as well as our folks recently promoted, please appreciate every day you come to work here. It is an honor and a privilege to work for this city, for this fire department, to have the honor and privilege to take care of the great folks in this city as well as the tourists that come through here, and cherish every day, because as you can see, one day it does come to an end. You'll be receiving your shadow box, and you'll say in the blink of an eye it was over. So enjoy it. Thank you. As I mentioned earlier, I think the last few days, at least for me, and I'm sure for everybody, have been special in this city. Between the dedication of our new fire station, all the holiday events that are going on, and then this, it truly is the holiday season. I wish everybody a happy and safe holiday season. Please stay and mingle a little bit. We've got some great food back there by Sidecar Kitchen, and afterwards we've got the entire reception. So thank you for all the family members that have come out. Thank you again to the commissioners, all the support that we have here. Thanks to my staff for putting this together. Have a great